Hello everybody, shooting the dogs here. Just thought I'd do a bit of history tracking, yeah. Got a few questions. Portugal, officially Portuguese Republic, is a country located mostly on the Iberian Peninsula. It's not side of Spain, innit? Blah 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 blah. Its territories are also included by the Atlantic archipelagos, the Azores and Madeira, both autonomous regions. Portugal is the oldest nation state on the Iberian Peninsula and one in Europe, right? So it's the oldest nation state. Right? What's a nation state? A nation state shares its same culture and is conscious of it. The nation state is its culture well. Nation state, right, so it's been bordered on the west by the Atlantic Ocean, northeast Spain, Antarctic archipelagos, all that. Portugal is the oldest nation on the Iberian Peninsula, one of the oldest in Europe. Its territory having continuously settled, invaded and fought over it since prehistoric times. The pre-Celtic people, Celts, Phoenicians, ancient Greeks, Carthaginians and Romans were followed by the invasions of the Suevi and Visigothic Germanic and Romans, and followed by that the invasion of the Sebalite and Visigothic peoples. After the Muslim conquest of the Iberian Peninsula, most of the territory was part of Al-Andalus. After the Muslim conquest of the Iberian Peninsula, blah blah blah, I just read that. Portugal as a country was established. Right. In the 15th and 16th centuries, Portugal established the first global maritime commercial empire. Right. They were the first, right? There's a theocracy, right? A theocracy. Traditional theocracies dominate blah 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 blah. Right, it means a theocracy is a state with primarily maritime realms, an empire at sea, or a seaborne empire. Traditional theocracies seldom dominate interiors, even in their own interiors. Right? There's different variations, but look, examples of this are the Phoenician states of Tyre, Sidon and Carthage. There was all Phoenician theocracies, empires, what they had to build ships and get to, yeah? So theocracy, that's an important word, theocracy, an empire at sea, right? And then you jump years later and you get to Portugal and it's been invaded, it says here, by the Phoenicians, right? Phoenicians, we already know they're the theocracy, they're the ship people, yeah? They're the shipbuilders, they know they know the score, right? In the 15th and 16th centuries, Portugal established the first global maritime and commercial empire. Well, like earlier on, the Knights Templars were doing that. They were creating an empire, but doing it under religious guise. But they were shock troops for the fucking Vatican. They were just booty, carpet baggers, yeah, for knowledge and technology and resources. Right, so my theory is the Phoenicians are in charge of the country, right? After the Muslim conquest of the Iberian Peninsula, most of its parts, blah 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 blah. Like I showed before, Saladin was a Templar, yeah. So it doesn't matter about the religions. They're all one secret. This all Satanist, really. The first global and maritime commercial empire, becoming one of the world's major economic, political and military powers. During this period, today referred to as the Age of Discovery, Portuguese blah blah blah. Space traded, divided the world into hemispheres of dominion with Castile. Right? The revolution 1910. 1910 again, all that time, all the monarchy got disposed. They must have upset. Just before the First World War, something happened, they fell out, didn't they? And I think it's to do with petrol, the discovery of oil. They knew the potential of it. They all fell out amongst themselves over which bits of lands were whose, which ones had oil and all that. They got whacked off, yeah? But before then, they went from being the Portuguese Republic, yeah? And as they probably got, I don't know for what reason, but they moved then to Dutch East. Mate, Dutch East Indies, that's not one. India Company. Yeah. The Dutch East India Company founded the official United Company Dutch. So just after Portugal, it was the power. They've been invaded by Phoenicians, that we know, right? And Celts, and I think Celts or Tartarians, well, part Tartarian, or come under them. So, the 15th, 16th centuries, Portugal established the first global maritime thing, yeah? Then all of a sudden, there's the Dutch one. I've got too much shit up here. So then we got the Dutch East India Company, yeah? Which, something I found out about that, right? What's funny about that is people were mourning that there was a monopoly on it, so they started up a Dutch West East India Company. The guy who founded it was the guy who founded the Dutch East India Company, right? So it just flitters into nothing. Around the world, especially in English countries, blah 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 blah, we used to make a distinction from the British East India Company and blah blah blah. They just vanished. It collapsed. The golden age of Netherlandish cartography. Navigators and cartographers helped shape geographical knowledge of the world as we know it today. Right? So after we had that, then we got the British East India Company. But I missed out one. They were in France for a long time as well, weren't they? The French royal aristocracy were the power base for a long, long time with Napoleon and all that, and then we beat them, and it was all internal squabbles and us dying for these fuckers, this Phoenician fucks. So then they became the East India Company as British, from the British Empire, making money out of drug trade. Well, the merchants of England trading to the West Indies. East India House, London. That fucking thing. So, the country was formed in the Indian spice trade, that had been the monopoly of Spain and Portugal until the defeat of the Spanish Armada by England and gave the English the chance to break the monopoly. Until 1612, the company conducted separate voyages, very separately subscribed. They were temporarily joint stocks until 1657. Now my point is they went out, they go out and they discover these places, right? Most of these places have been discovered before and people have come back and told us about them, and people have put up the money to send out a proper expedition out to the lands, and then they get the credit of it. Like I was saying before about the guy who went to China, found the fucking machine what detects earthquakes, what were 2,000 years old. Jesuit priest came back, written up about it, built one. He gets the credit for building the first fucking one. And that happened, it's happened hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. The ones who get the credit are the ones who patent it. Ideas have been around for ages. People were tinkering. People read books back then. People like tinkered and messed about with stuff. Even your average Joe. We didn't have televisions to sit in front of and rock boxes. People had used their imagination and made things. They had to glue things in the shed. They did all sorts of other things. And so, what I'm saying is, we got the Phoenicians in Portugal, which is, I've always said that's where they came into Europe, right? And I've found it, right? They hit Europe, they go through fucking Portugal, they get France and Spain and England fighting, they wipe out Spain, and then they wipe out Spain, but it also does away with the Dutch East India Company, and all of a sudden we end up with the British East India Company, and that's when all the Bank of England starts getting built, and it all starts getting, the River Isis becomes, the Thames is the River Isis, like it was called that before, but then all the Phoenicians artwork starts coming around the Bank of England and all that, yeah, and then we find the Temple of Mithras, right, in London Mytherium. They found it in 1954. They found some objects in 1850s, but never carried on digging and found rest at Temple of Mithras. I believe they knew it was there and was using it or whatever, maybe not, maybe, but they knew it was there. But they never set out. But in the 50s, it had to go because commerce was coming, so they had to uncover, they had to let the secret out of the bag. Yeah, so now they moved it up the road and made it a tourist attraction, made it into a theme park. Yeah. Temple of Mithras in Scotland, yeah, and they're all built on pre-existing sites. This is the Mithras from Scotland. The Patters Temple, blah, 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 Roman fort. About midway between Alsted's Roman fort and Chester's Roman fort is a fairly large car park that follows Hadrian's Wall. This is Brolycleia, not blah 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 blah. It allows access to a monument that is unique on Hadrian's Wall, the Brolycleia Mithraeum or Temple of Mithras. Yeah, so they're in Scotland. What emerged was a superb collection of offerings left to goddesses Coventina over a prolonged period of time. These included 22 small altars and a huge quantity of coins, but several thousand more were probably taken by people who flocked to the site when news of the discovery emerged. Nothing remains for the shrine or its contents today. just what was going on there. Mithras and Eastern religion leaders. Well, in 1822, when excavators working at Alstead, they discovered an extraordinary stone sculpture. Other finds in the same area revealed that it was the god Mithras. Dark rituals, Mithrasic temples, and small gloomy semi-subterranean structures intended to evoke legendary cave where Mithra killed the bull. Inside, secret ceremonies would be followed by ritual feasts and devotees reclining on benches, running alongside walls. Fragments of relief of the bull slaying scene were found when Halstead's Mithraeum was excavated. But a lot of temples in Mithraeum, killing the car, the bull, sun behind the head. Well, all these temples they find, they always manage to keep the ones to Mithraism, don't they? Well, these don't look Roman to me. That's got a Phoenician fucking... That's that Phoenician cap, isn't it? Someone told me about a place yesterday. Oh, hang on. Seven stars. Pull this up so you can pause and read. Well, does not look Roman. Not that I'm fucking a Roman expert. But what I'm getting at though is corprotocracy is an empire at sea. The Phoenicians, they've travelled round, they went to fucking Portugal, right? That's where the first castle started. Then they spread it through Spain. I showed on one of my last videos, Ross shows a map where the temple commanderies built across Spain. They built all them temple commanderies as a money bank, as a, you know, like a safe point. You had thousands of knights, who were warrior knights, not just your fucking priest class. And they're still running us, their bloodline. They killed millions and millions and millions of us during the war. Sean Ross says they got to Switzerland with a treasure from the Crusades. They left a fleet round Scotland, and that's why we've got Mary Magdalene's church and that, to protect the waters the best. Doesn't protect them from British House quite well, I suppose. Anyone trying to get into Europe. And they came to Britain, they became the British royal family. You know, they were Portuguese, then the English and Spain had a war, which made England be able to dominate the Dutch, which sounds more like whoever was running the Dutch just moved the powers of operation to England. Started off the royal families, got their bloodlines into the royals. None of them are English or British, or they ever have been. And they still marry always foreigners from other royal families within certain families. And then they went through France. I can't work out France because there were executions and all that there. France is a complicated thing, but that was part of it all going down. King Philip was onto the Knights Templar. He realised what they were doing. He realised they were using usury and were starting to control people like cattle. He sussed them. And so France has a checkered history. Don't get me wrong, it's strong as fuck. He didn't, he had his battle, which we get Napoleon. And then when Britain gets the power, because we beat the Spanish with the Armada, and that, the story, that's a crock of shit and all, innit? Come on, it's a joke. They went home, they saw, they went home, right? Only Sir Francis Drake playing his fucking game of balls and not bothering, because it were all fucking set up, yeah, to let the new ones in. So they basically amalgamated the Dutch East India Company with the British East India Company, took all Spanish's fucking part of it, and then over the years, as technology changed with regards to ships and all that, well, then we found oil, and that's another story. But what I'm saying is that that word thylacracy, Phoenicia was a thylacracy, and it's slid out and in and out of each and every country, and it's still running the show.